Hey y'all, it's me, Dree. So today we are beginning with curiosity, then we have confusion, and then exhaustion is ending it. So I'm getting that this emotional transgression is describing the state of that the collective is currently moving through. So beginning with curiosity, I'm getting that there is something about the collective looking forward again, wondering what comes next, becoming interested in what may still be available now that something behind y'all has reached its conclusion. And then the emotion turns to confusion. I don't necessarily think this means the collective doesn't know what they want. I think some of y'all have been navigating, I don't know, environments, people, situations, whatever it was. You guys were navigating something that forced y'all to question what actually aligns with y'all. And then the emotion lands on exhaustion. I'm getting this is because this journey has taken something out of y'all. I'm getting there has been a lot to process, a lot to learn, and a whole lot to move through. And I'm getting that even though this collective is recalibrating, some of y'all are tired, maybe even exhausted, while this process takes place. Now let's get into this message. We're starting under this emotional tone of curiosity. And the tarot brings in the full moon, the solar eclipse, the Eight of Wands reversed. So with this full moon, I'm getting that y'all have just closed out an emotional cycle. Something in y'all's reality has reached completion here. I'm getting that y'all have seen what y'all needed to see. Y'all have felt what y'all needed to feel. And whatever this particular chapter was meant to show y'all, I'm getting this lesson, it landed. Because then we have the solar eclipse. So I'm getting that this ending, that was actually serving as a cosmic trigger here. Basically, the completion of this emotional cycle has created the opening for something entirely new to begin positioning itself in y'all's lives. Sometimes it really is the ending that sets everything else into motion, collective. That's very true. And then we get the Eight of Wands reversed. So this tells me that whatever y'all triggered by this ending, whatever y'all triggered is taking some time to align right now. So the new trajectory, it does exist. The shift into it has already been activated, but there is a natural delay between the activation of that change and seeing where it ultimately takes y'all in the 3D. So I'm getting some of this curiosity may simply be y'all recognizing that something has changed and wondering what exactly is going to fill the place that has now been created in your reality. Because now you have space, correct, collective, don't you? But the emotional undertone is moving into confusion next. And underneath confusion, we get the Hierophant reverse. We get the Five of Cups reverse. And we get the Star. So this Hierophant reverse, this can speak about non-conforming structures, alternative lifestyles, or simply environments that operate outside of the more traditional expectations. But this card also speaks to challenging those structures. It talks about thinking for yourselves, looking at what is being presented to y'all and deciding whether or not it actually belongs in y'all's lives. And I'm getting here that some of y'all have recently had experiences that caused y'all to do exactly this. Y'all have been able to look at certain dynamics and say, I understand this may work for somebody else, but this is not what I want for myself. Isn't that right, collective? And I have to say, there is real power in this clarity that you're having. Because this Five of Cups reverse tells me that the collective is ready to move on from this whole non-conforming vibe altogether. Y'all are not standing over the disappointment anymore. Y'all are continuing to invest your emotional energy into things of value. Y'all are not continuing to invest emotional energy into something simply because it had y'all's attention for a period of time. Y'all are turning away from that altogether. And then we meet the Star. And this Star tells me that what y'all are doing is active healing. This is healing with purpose. Because every time y'all identify something that does not align with y'all, and every time y'all make the conscious decision not to carry it forward, y'all are recalibrating when you do that. Y'all are moving yourselves back into alignment when you do that. Moving yourselves back towards y'all's own values, back towards y'all's own structures, back towards y'all's own standards even, and back towards what actually feels right, right? So I don't think confusion is where y'all are staying. I think confusion is what forced the collective to think critically enough to arrive at clarity. And then we're ending in the emotional undertone of exhaustion. And under exhaustion, we've got the Three of Swords, the Queen of Wands, the Fool reverse. So this Three of Swords tells me that there has been real grief on this journey, hasn't there, collective? There has been heartbreak. There has been disillusionment. There have been moments where what y'all hoped something could become did not match what it actually became. And all of those experiences, they have left a mark, haven't they, collective? I don't know if y'all are tired now. I think these cards are validating that exhaustion rather than criticizing it. Because after this exhaustion from the grief, we have the Queen of Wands. And I just have to say, look how y'all are showing up despite everything y'all have been through. Y'all are magnetizing. Y'all are standing in y'all's own aura. Y'all are becoming visible again. And I can feel there is confidence here. There is presence here. There is real life force here. So the collective, y'all have not disappeared into this grief. Y'all have come back to y'all selves. And because y'all are showing up in this Queen of Wands energy, I'm feeling things are beginning to find y'all again. Situations are appearing. Possibilities are presenting themselves. Some of them may even initially look like they could become something significant. And then we end the message in the full reverse. So every time these situations show up, I'm getting, they don't take off. The beginning doesn't quite become a beginning. The possibility doesn't quite become something tangible. And I gotta say, I feel you, collective. That would be exhausting. Because when y'all have already done this healing work, when y'all have already gotten back up, when y'all are already showing up in y'all's own energy, it can become very frustrating to continue encountering situations that seem promising, only for them to stall out before they ever truly begin. But I really want y'all to hear me right now. That does not mean y'all are doing something wrong. Because the full moon, that already told us the emotional cycle has completed. And that's because of you, collective. The solar eclipse, that told us the completion triggered real change. And that's because of you, collective. And then the Eight of Wands reverse. This is simply saying the next thing that's coming is taking time to align right now. And then the Star, well, that told us the healing that is happening right now is actively putting the collective back into alignment. And it's also saying that this healing is being done for a purpose. And then the Queen of Wands. That tells us y'all are already showing up in y'all's own energy again. So this full reverse, this does not erase any of that, collective. It simply tells us that every opportunity that appears during this recalibration time, not every opportunity is necessarily the opportunity that is meant to launch. Some things may be showing up and falling short simply to reveal how much y'all have changed. To show y'all what y'all are no longer willing to accept. To give y'all an opportunity to choose differently than y'all would have chosen in the past. And all of that, collective, all of that is still movement, isn't it? Y'all don't need to turn an almost into a forever just because y'all are tired of waiting. You just need to be a little more patient, collective, because y'all don't need to lower y'all's standards just because something had potential. You stand your ground, collective. And y'all don't need to convince yourselves that a beginning failed because there is something wrong with y'all. Because that is simply not the case. Sometimes something fails to launch because it was never capable of going where y'all are headed in the first place. Because the collective has already closed the cycle. The collective has already started moving away from what doesn't align. And the collective is actively healing back into y'all's own frequency. So be patient and let this recalibration happen. Let what cannot meet y'all fall away. Let what isn't built for the next version of y'all lives, let that fail to launch. Because the goal here is not simply just to have something new, collective. The goal is to have something that's aligned. And you're going to have a few duds before you meet your prize, collective. That's just a law of averages. Logistical fact. But what I'm getting the most is that right now, what's happening, while things are taking their time to align, y'all are being given your own time so that you can get yourselves into position for exactly that. The next aligned thing to enter your 3D reality. It's coming, collective, and it's important that you know that this time in between, that's all by design. So keep your goal on the prize. Don't get distracted in the chaos. You pulled yourself back. Now stay back. And that's the message that I have for y'all today. So if this one landed, then like my message. Leave me a comment and let me know. And if you made it to the end, I want to hear about it. And make sure y'all are following along. And most importantly, remember, where there is love, there is light. I'll see y'all again real soon.